Hey everyone, welcome back. My name is Daria if you're new to my channel, and today's yoga practice is called Hello Spring. I don't know about you, but in the springtime, I always feel just a little bit more alive when the days get warmer and longer and brighter. And so today's yoga practice is inspired by spring, all of these elements of lightness and brightness. All that you'll need is yourself and some place to move. And whenever you're ready, let's go ahead and get into it. We'll get started by finding a comfortable seat. So let your sitting bones be rooted, let your knees fall wide, and then rest your palms face up on your thighs as you close your eyes. Take a moment here just to drop whatever's happened in your day so far or whatever is coming up later on and settle into this moment. Feel your body and begin to feel your breath. Imagine your sitting bones as anchors that are pulling you down toward the earth, growing deep roots. And then imagine the crown of your head like a balloon, floating up high to the sky, feeling this pull in two opposite directions that creates a beautiful elongation through your full spine. Start to gradually deepen your breath, so that your next inhalation is longer than the one before it. Begin to feel your breath traveling up and down your spine. As you inhale, it rises from the root of where you sit all the way through the crown of your head. And then as you exhale, allow the breath to wash and rinse back down that same channel through your spine. Continue breathing in this way, deepening your inhalations and your exhalations, and begin to imagine that each of your vertebrae are an individual light bulb. And as the breath touches that vertebra, it illuminates. Creating a glow up and down your spine. Take a few more rounds of breath here. Start to cultivate Ujjayi breath in and out through your nose. Stay with that visual of lighting up the spine for one last deep, full inhalation. And a big breath out. Blink your eyes open and find your way to hands and knees, tabletop. Claw down through your fingertips. Let your shoulders float right over your wrists. Hips are over the knees. Take a few cat-cows. Inhale, lift your tailbone, spread your sitting bones. Soften your front body, contract your back body, and reach your heart forward and then up. As you exhale, swallow your inner thighs together, draw belly button to spine, and progressively round all your vertebrae up toward the sky. Drop your head at the bottom. Inhale for cow, creating waves through the spine. Slide your sitting bones back as you reach your heart forward and your gaze lifts. As you exhale, press down through your palms, get really hollow through your core, and then dome between your shoulder blades. Take a couple more rounds here. Move at your own pace with your own breath. Each time that you inhale, feel the freshness, the renewal of the breath. And then as you exhale, can you let go of anything that's stale, anything that you're holding, or any pressures that you've placed on your practice? Come back to a neutral spine. Spin your fingertips back to point towards your thighs. It's okay if they don't come all the way back. And then just gently shift forward and back, massaging into the wrists and the forearms. This movement might be very subtle. You can also make it more circular if that feels good. If you are taking circles, make sure you move in both directions. Good. And then turn your fingertips to face out toward the sides of your mat and shift from left to right. Keep a little micro bend in your elbows, avoiding hyperextension. And then come back to neutral. Spin your palms to face forward. Tuck your toes behind you and press yourself back to downward facing dog. Go really slow through the transition, driving into the center of your palms. The heels can float. It's okay if they're not touching the mat. The knees can be bent a little or a lot. You can adjust your stance as needed, walking the feet back or forward. Maybe the feet widen, or maybe the stance is more narrow to start. Find what feels good for you, allowing your spine to be long and lengthened. And then feel all 10 of your finger pads. Let them really be like claws digging you down to the earth, so you can really feel the quality of the mat beneath you, the texture. And then mirror that with your toes. So you can spread them all really wide, lifting up through the arches of your feet, and then anchoring your toes down one at a time to grip. Take a few sweet breaths through your spine here, stretching out, ironing out any kinks, any creases. Good. Look forward towards your palms. As you exhale, step your feet forward. Draw your feet together to touch. Big toe mounds are connected. And then soften into a forward fold. Take an inhale, find halfway lift. Elongate your spine. Stretch the crown of your head forward. Reach your sitting bones toward the back of your space. And then as you exhale, just gently fold into yourself. 2 more times like that. Wave through your spine as you inhale. Stretch evenly forward and back. All your vertebrae reach away from each other. And then exhale, bow, heart toward your thighs, crown of head toward your toes. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale and fold forward. On your next inhale, root your feet. Circle your fingertips wide to the side. With a flat back, rise all the way up to stand and lift your fingertips up toward the sky. Draw your palms to touch and lift your gaze to follow. As you exhale, swan dive down, forward fold. Big, expansive dive into your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your palms flat to the mat. Lift up high onto the balls of your feet. Draw your knees to the backs of your triceps and then just play with crow. So shifting forward and back. Maybe the toes stay to the mat. Maybe one set of toes lifts or maybe both. Good. Step or float back to chaturanga. Lower down halfway, elbows graze the ribs. Untuck your toes. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra if it's more comfortable. Shoulder blades hug the back of your heart and then shine your heart forward to the top of your mat. As you exhale, glide back, downward facing dog. Lift from the space below your belly button. Draw that to your spine to activate this action of lifting up and back. Take a couple breaths here in downward facing dog. Inhale, gaze forward. As you exhale, step or float to the top of your mat. Feet draw together. Fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Iron out the spine. Exhale and fold. Inhale, feel big toes and pinky toes evenly anchored. As you reverse swan dive, rise up to stand. Allow your fingertips to feel the air as they reach for the sky. Lift your gaze. And then exhale, dive down, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, stretch it out. Exhale, palms come down, lift your heels really, really high. Triceps come maybe all the way up to your armpits. Shift the weight forward, claw the mat with your fingertips. Gaze is about a foot in front of your thumbs. Maybe the feet float. Step or glide back, lower down halfway, chaturanga. Untuck your toes. Inhale, upward facing dog. Tops of your feet press down. Exhale, downward facing dog. Lift your hips up and back. A couple of steady and smooth breaths here. Breathe down the lines of your side body, revolving your shoulder blades away from each other, and then squeezing your hands toward each other isometrically. Inhale, look forward, lift your heels, bend your knees. At the bottom of your exhale, step or float forward to a fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale and fold forward. Inhale, rise to stand, press the earth down through your feet, reach for the sky with your fingertips and your gaze. And then exhale, dive back down right where you came. Soften the back of your neck at the bottom of your fold. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale, plant your palms, lift your heels, play with crow. Just see what happens. Shift it forward. Magnetize your elbows. Try not to panic. Good. And then step or float back. Lower chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Open your heart. Exhale, downward facing dog. Lift your hips up and back. On your next inhale, root your left toes. Sweep your right leg high to the sky, three-legged down dog. Keep your hips square by pointing all 5 of your right toenails toward the earth. Micro bend your left knee and then activate your right glute. See if you can reach your toes just a little bit higher to the sky. Inhale. As you exhale, draw right knee to your nose. Hold and squeeze here for 3, for 2, for 1, then look between your thumbs and step your right foot there. Sink your left knee down to the mat behind you. Take an inhale. Sweep your fingertips up high to the sky. As you exhale, circle your left arm around to the back of your hamstring. Maybe glide it down to your calf or your heel as you stretch your whole front body out. Reach up and back with the right fingertips. Lift your gaze toward the sky. Keep pressing your pelvis down and forward as you draw left knee and right heel toward the midline, keeping the hips square. 1 more breath here. Good. Use your core. Rise back up. Root into your feet. Left toes are tucked. See if without using your hands, you can float your left knee away from the mat, finding high crescent lunge. Inhale here. As you exhale, step forward into the right foot, drawing your left foot beside it. Inhale, chair pose, Utkatasana. Sink low and back into your heels. Sweep your fingertips up high, biceps beside your ears. Squeeze your inner thighs toward the midline and then sink into your seat, keeping the toes bright. Weight is in the heels. On your next inhale, press into your toes, lift your heels away from the earth. As you exhale, take a slow descent all the way down, drawing the sitting bones to your heels. At the bottom, widen your knees. Lift your fingertips up high toward the sky. Lift your gaze to follow. Inhale. As you exhale, palms come down through heart center. Plant them. And then we'll play with crow again. So knees come to the backs of your triceps, high up onto your arms, and maybe the feet float away from the earth. Good. Lower your feet down to the mat. Feet are about hips distance apart and sink to Malasana. Draw your palms to meet in front of your heart. It's okay if the heels are floating away from the earth. Elbows come to your inner thighs and then press them against your inner thighs with as much energy as you press your inner thighs back into your elbows. Elongate through your spine, coming back to the idea of sitting bones as anchors and the crown of the head as a balloon, moving in two opposite directions. And reach forward through your fingertips. Draw your feet slightly closer together. Come up to your heels and then lower your knees softly down to the mat. So the knees are about hips distance apart. Toes are tucked behind you. Take your hands to your waistline and just create a gentle press downward. You can massage the low back with your thumbs here. Feel as though your shins are being pulled down to the earth, and then squeeze your inner thighs together. Lift up through your pelvic floor all the way to your heart center, and then through the crown of your head. So there's this rising energy that comes from the rooting in your legs. Take your hands to your low back. The fingertips can either face down or up, whatever feels good. Really gentle camel. So as you inhale, feel that rush of energy rise through your full torso, lifting your heart toward the sky. As you exhale, maybe the head leans back. Press your hands to your sacrum. Press your sacrum back into your hands. Activate your glutes toward the backs of your knees. Lift up through your low belly. And then lean back any amount. Start really gentle, really subtle. Feel your back body active, contracted. Front body is open and expansive. And rise back up. Let your head and your gaze be the last thing to lift. And then shift your hips back to sit on your heels. Spin your palms facing up on your thighs and just drop down here for a couple of breaths. You can close your eyes. Allow your shoulders to be soft. Allow your face to be soft. And blink your eyes open. Plant your palms. Tuck your toes behind you. And find your way back to downward facing dog. Now on your next inhale, root your right toes, sweep your left leg high to the sky, three-legged down dog. Then micro bend your right knee, make sure that your hips are square, and then activate the left glute. See if you can reach your toes just a little bit higher to the sky. Press your heart toward your back thigh. Inhale here. Exhale, draw in. Right heel lifts high, left knee pulls in toward your nose. Squeeze for 3, for 2, for 1. Then look forward, step forward. Left foot between your thumbs, right knee lands to the mat. Inhale, fingertips reach up high toward the sky. Magnetize your feet together. As you exhale, slide your right palm down the back of your thigh, maybe all the way back to your heel or to your calf. Keep pressing your hips forward, particularly the right hip bones pulling forward. Outer left hip is drawing back. Then lift up and back through the left fingertips. Let your gaze follow. If you feel crunching in your low back, come out just a little bit. See if you can create more length. And the back bends come from all of this elongation. Use your core. Press into your feet. Rise all the way back up. Right toes tuck behind you if they're not. Use the strength of your legs to lift your right knee away from the earth. Fingertips float to the sky. Take a big inhale and crescent lunge. As you exhale, just step forward. Right foot comes beside the left. Anchor it down. Inhale. Chair pose. Sink weight low and back into your heels. Sweep your fingertips up high to the sky and then sit lower, lower, and lower. The core is connected here, so the spine stays elongating. On your next inhale, lift your heels. Exhale, start to sink down. Keep pulling your inner thighs together. Keep your gaze steady and focused. Once the heels meet the sitting bones, widen your knees. Inhale, fingertips reach up toward the sky, long spine. As you exhale, palms come down through heart center. We'll play with crow. This is the last one. Plant your palms, fingers are wide. Knees come to the backs of your triceps and see what happens. No pressure. Two more breaths in crow. And if you're in crow, see if you can press your arms towards straight, maybe. Good. And then softly lower your feet down to the mat. Feet are about hips distance apart. Find your Malasana. Palms meet in front of your heart. Option to stay here or elbow your right tricep to the front of your leg here. Then step your right fingertips off your mat to the side. Inhale, sweep the left fingertips high to the sky, creating a twist through your spine, like you're revolving your heart all the way up toward the clouds. You can stay here, or you can go for the bind. Draw the back of your right hand to your right glute, and then you can circle the left fingertips around and back, and maybe bring them to interlace. Keep working to peel your left shoulder open, and lift your gaze high. Back through center. And this time, the left elbow threads in front of your leg. Step your left fingertips off the mat. Right fingertips reach up toward the sky. Inhale here. And stay, or as you exhale, you can find the bind. Just breathe through all of the sensations that you're feeling. Massaging your body with the breath, finding opening and depth. Good. Release back through center, palms to your heart. Heel toe your feet slightly closer together, and then come up to your toes and drop your knees down to the mat. If you need to use your hands through that transition, no problem. That's great. This time, toes can stay tucked or maybe untuck your toes. As you inhale, sweep your fingertips up high to the sky. Activate your glutes, like your sitting bones are reaching for the backs of your knees, and then see how high you can stretch up through your fingertips. We'll stay and breathe here for a couple of rounds, coming back to the visualization of the spine becoming lit. So one vertebra at a time as you inhale lights up, like you're literally growing several inches up toward the sky. And then as you exhale, allow that energy to wash back down through your spine, but keep the length. As you're ready, squeeze your inner thighs together. Dig down through your toenails if the toes are untucked. And then circle your arms wide to come to your sacrum, fingertips facing down or up. And then take an inhale. Feel really lifted up through your heart. Keep the length as you start to bend back. Press your pelvis forward. Continually elongate through your front body and your back body. Maybe the hands reach for your heels behind you. And then keep pressing your pelvis forward. Breathe into all of this space. Take 2 more breaths in camel. And then come out exactly as you came in. If the hands are to the heels, bring them back to your sacrum. Slowly rise back up. Gaze is the last thing to lift. And then shift the hips back to sit onto your heels. Palms face up. Close your eyes. Just notice what you're feeling. And try to go inside so much that you can feel every different sensation. All of the different qualities, the warmth, the opening. Maybe there's places that are feeling a little bit hardened, like they haven't quite thawed yet. Feel those too. Feel everything equally. Blink your eyes open. Plant your palms down to the mat. Walk your knees back. And glide to downward facing dog. And let's wash through the spine a couple of times, feeling the renewal that comes with the ebb and the flow of the breath and these spinal waves. As you inhale, lift your heels, hollow your front body, shift forward to high plank. And as you exhale, create arches through your spine, lift your sacrum, curl it up high toward the sky, stretch your heart and your gaze forward toward your thumbs as you press back to downward facing dog. Inhale, wash forward, high plank, charge up through your thighs, hollow your belly, tuck your chin toward your chest. Then exhale, lift your sitting bones, spread them wider as you drive down into your palms and press yourself back to downward facing dog. One more like this. Inhale, lift your heels, wash forward, high plank. And exhale, ride your breath back, downward facing dog. Walk your feet forward to the top of your mat. This time the feet hips distance apart. Lift your feet, slide your palms under them. So the palms of the hands and the soles of the feet are touching. And then drop your toes down to your wrist creases as you relax your head. Knees can be bent any amount. And you can sway side to side here, finding release, decompression through your full spine. And if it feels good, wiggle your toes to give yourself a little massage through the base of your palms and through your wrist creases. And lots of playing in crow, so that could feel really nice. Lift your toes and release your hands back down to the mat. And we'll come all the way down to a seat. So come through a squat, reach forward through your fingertips, or keep them rooted to the earth, and then sink your sitting bones down to the mat. Malasana, boat pose. Shift back until you feel your core start to activate, belly buttons pulling towards your spine. Lift your toes away from the earth. The shins can be parallel with the mat, or maybe reach the legs all the way towards straight. Arms can come, or hands can come behind your hamstrings for some extra support if you like. And then just breathe into what you feel. Squeeze your inner ankles toward the midline. Let your toes stay spread, wide and bright. Palms are open toward the sky. Last 3 breaths here. Inhale. As you exhale, slowly lower all the way down to lie on your back. Maybe come through Ardha Navasana for 1 breath if you want a little extra core engagement. And then release everything down to the earth. And then walk your feet in so that they stack under your knees, hips distance apart. We'll set up for bridge or wheel. Bring your palms down flat to the mat beside you. Press into your feet and start to lift your pelvis up high toward the sky. Similar activation to camel, where your sitting bones are drawing toward the backs of your knees. If you want to play in bridge, you can scoop the shoulder blades together underneath you for some support to prop up your heart. Interlace your fingertips and then press the pinky side of your hands to the earth. Stay here. Maybe find wheel. If you'd like, place your palms beside your ears and start pressing. Rise up. Magnetize your elbows toward the midline. And then stretch out through your heart space. Feel the engagement in your back body. Feel anchored by your fingers, your toes, your hands, and your feet. And then allow your heart to air out, clearing up any congestion, opening through the threads in your chest, untangling them. And when you're ready, slowly release and lower back down to the mat the same way that you came in. If you're lowering from wheel, just keep your elbows hugging in as you relax. And then drop your whole back to the earth. Step your feet wide to the wide edges of your mat. Lean your knees in on each other. Let your palms rest beside you, facing up. And just drop broken bridge. Start to feel as though your body is melting into the earth beneath you. Anything that's hardened through the winter, it's all melting now, thawing, so you can become more fluid, more free, more open, softer. Bring your knees back to parallel and then start to slide your toes down your mat out to the corners, finding your shavasana. And then drop everything here. Just let yourself absorb and feel all of the warm, buzzy sensations that you've created with your movement. And feel free to stay here resting until you feel like you're fully melted. And then when you're ready to move into the rest of your day, take a deeper breath. Big inhale through your nose. Take a sigh out of your mouth. Let something else release. Start to wiggle your fingers and your toes like little sparks, little fireflies lighting up. And then find a long body stretch. Toes go forward, fingers reach back behind you. Elongate. And then rise up to a seat however you'd like to get there. You can come through fetal pose, or you can just roll right up, whatever's feeling good. Eyes stay closed if it's possible. And returning to Sukhasana, right where we began, feeling the duality between anchoring and lifting through the spine. Let's take one final breath here to clear. Inhale, breathe in something fresh. Exhale, let go of anything stale. And then draw your palms to meet at your heart center. Take a moment to find gratitude for your body, for allowing you to move through this practice today, and for showing up for yourself as well. And lift your heart, and then bow your chin toward your chest. Namaste. Thank you so much, as always, for sharing your movement practice with me today. I hope that that felt good for you. I hope that you're enjoying the beginning of spring and the new season. Let me know how you're feeling in the comments below if you have time, and you can subscribe to my channel down below as well if you're not already. That really supports me. I hope you're doing great. I hope you have an awesome rest of the day or the night, and I will see you soon in another class. Bye.